Welcome to the podcast from the St. Louis Sportists, an occasionally smart, always irreverent look at sports in St. Louis and beyond. And now, your St. Louis Sportists.
Hello and welcome to the podcast from the St. Louis Sportists. My name is Ron Cook, and I am joined by Joe Sperlin.
I'm just going to say this. Jaden Daniels is happy there's only 4 of us here tonight. And I'd like to say,
that's true.
I didn't mention it, but another week here on my new Black Dog microphone.
That is outstanding. We'd like to thank Dave. We may have to talk to him about becoming a studio sponsor instead of the last call, you know. Also, Doug Lansdowne.
Yep, I'm on the Black Dog microphone too. Yep, glad to be here.
as well as Tom Mathis.
Great to see everybody. Good to be back.
And Keith Farrell is on assignment to appease Jaden Daniels. So that's why there are only 4 of us tonight. In this edition, the Cardinals pass one team in the wild card race and continue to be 3 games out of the playoffs. Best golfers in the world come to St. Louis for the BMW Championship, and one Sportist will be there. City is in action right now. They're in the 12th minute against Sporting Kansas City. I'm sorry, against Kansas. Let's get that right. And they haven't lost since early May. How far can they take this turnaround? And we're going to look back 50 years ago when Mizzou actually scheduled non-conference games that were a bit more challenging. The St. Louis Sportists are brought to you by First Coast Steel Buildings. Jason and his team will take your project from design to completion with a family-first approach. Learn more at 1stcoaststeel.com, and we'll hear more from them and Sandra Templeoff later in the show. And tonight's last call is brought to you by Black Dog Consulting, LLC, here to help the one-truck owner and the small fleet owner to grow and prosper. Contact our buddy Dave at 417-217-9622. Black Dog Consulting, helping you retrieve bigger profits. Folks, we only like to make one request of you a week, and that is if you listen on iTunes, if you could give us a star rating, preferably 5 stars. 5 stars would be fantastic. We're on most legitimate socials and YouTube at STL Sportists. Yes, Joe, this is the one time that we will invoke the 5. Sorry, Jaden Daniels. Let's lead it off with quick hits, Joe. What do you have?
Well, I saw this the other day as colleges are getting started that Central Missouri State up in Warrensburg just announced the first jersey patch deal in Division II.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say this is substantial, a 5-year deal worth 6 figures annually. Now, that's not Ohio State money, but for Division II, that's a pretty good chunk of change. Except Division II jersey sponsorship deals have not been approved by the NCAA yet.
Details.
Yeah. Now, we're just waiting for, and Doug, you're going to like this. You better sit down for this one. I'm sure that Central Missouri's attorneys are on this. And Doug, if in that area of the state, you know who I recommend? Todd Miller up in Jeff City.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yes. Now, for nobody else, that is one of Doug's old friends back from college. And I'll just let him, if he wants to say anything, add on there. But I'm sure, hopefully, they'll take care of that. I'm saying 6 figures for 5 years, that's a pretty good chunk.
Joe, what is it they say? It's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
Go figure. Doug, what do you have?
I'll stay with college football also. Did you see where the Pac-12 moved into their new offices?
No.
So they had been in downtown San Francisco, and the last 10 years they spent $75 million in rent. So now they're in a strip mall in San Ramon, just outside of a middle school.
What's the rent on that one?
They said they expect to spend about 22% less in rent. So
Oh my gosh. Nothing
With,
says high
a
class
lot
like
of
a
money
strip
for a
mall in
strip
San
mall
Ramon.
in Santa Ramon or
in
wherever.
San Ramon, wherever the hell that is.
The solicitors will probably be an issue.
I can't believe it's only 22%. My gosh. Tom, what do you have?
So all of us here, I think we anticipate having a lockout this fall and winter with the MLB, and I blame the Los Angeles Dodgers for a lot of this situation because they're going out and they're just throwing money at everybody. Well, their owner is he's trying to get some money back. He recently sold the Los Angeles Lakers for $12 billion. He's in talks to sell Chelsea of the Premier League. He's trying to raise money because he's made some bad loans, and he's trying to cover billions and billions of dollars to correct these loans. And then one thing that he has done is he's reached out one of the big things the Dodgers have that gives them a big advantage is their TV contract. He's reached out to Charter and asked if they want to end the deal early and give him a lump sum payment. Charter said no, thank you. So he is going there. That deal's gonna keep intact. One thing about this, Shohei Ohtani has a clause in his contract that if Mark Walter is no longer the owner, he can opt out of his contract. He can get out of that contract. So that will be interesting. A lot of people I'm seeing they really don't think that he'll have to sell, but you never know. He may have to if he's in jail. So we'll see.
I read 5 articles on all of this afternoon, and all I can tell you is it sounds really bad for the guy and the Dodgers.
It really does. I mean, it looks like he's loaning money from one company to one of his other companies and not disclosing those loans to any of these customers. And I mean, I don't see how he stays out of jail, really.
And he used the deferred money on all of these contracts in a way so egregiously that they're talking about that's one of the things that absolutely they're going to ban in the next collective bargaining agreement.
Right. And rightfully they should. I mean, it gives him such an unfair advantage, especially with that TV contract that he has.
Yeah. What's Ohtani making per year? Like $2 million a year or something, and the rest is deferred.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, he's getting like $80 million a year after 2050 or whatever.
Well, so you're saying, like I said, here in 25 years, we're going to be celebrating Shatani Day. Ohtani Day.
Yes, and it's going to be a lot more than Bobby Bo's getting, I believe.
Joe, once again, I went to the famous scene in Wall Street where the guy's breaking down how they're going to sell the airline off, and they tell Charlie Sheen, "You're going to have the shortest CEO tenure of anyone in history since that Pope they poisoned." But anyway, I digress. It's the second week I've mentioned a Pope, by the way.
Yep.
I don't know if that's good. And again, folks, I'm a Methodist, so apologies to my Catholic friends. For mine, old friend Roger Goodell made some news this week when he said he has no doubt NFL teams will one day be located outside of the United States. His official quote was, "At some point, there will be NFL teams outside the USA." He said in an interview with a German broadcaster, ironically. And he also believes that a Super Bowl could be played overseas. The one thing that he didn't throw out was that the Players Association has not commented on this. And in 2023, the most recent Athletics Anonymous poll of NFL players, 55, over half, Joe, over half.
That's right.
55.4% said they would not want to play on an NFL team based overseas. So, yeah, think about that, Doug. You grow up in Iowa, you play at the University of Iowa, and you get drafted by Mexico City. That'd be awesome, wouldn't it?
Or Berlin.
Berlin.
Hey, and
right.
that Super Bowl in Berlin will be on Netflix.
Yep, probably will.
I don't see how they can just do one team over there. To me, it has to be like two. at least, that they take over there.
Well, and yeah, I mean, you get into logistics and, think about the free agent tryouts. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Waiver
Joe,
wire guy.
yeah, Joe, think about when you want to bring a kicker in, to compete against your guy. It's like, hey, well, we can't get him here for 3 days. So I guess this guy gets to kick for one more week.
Yeah, exactly.
Go figure. Well, we do know, hopefully, that your St. Louis Cardinals will continue to be based here in the Gateway City for a while. They sit right now at 65-62, despite being down a run to the Cincinnati Reds. In their last 10 games, 7-3, they remain in third place, just like last week, 13.5 out. Just like last week, 3 games out of the wild card. But Doug, they just keep winning, and man, Alec Burleson has kind of become even more of a story in the past week.
Yeah, you got to really be impressed with him, how he's stepped up, and he, it's definitely his team. You can tell. So, but he's the guy that embraces that. You think about a few years ago, they stuck him in the outfield, and then they said you're bad, and he got good. and then, and now all of a sudden they figured, oh, he can hit. Okay, so they've cleared the pathway for him, and he's done a great job. And he's a good first baseman too.
It came out today. He's leading first baseman in runs saved in the majors, which is pretty crazy. Cardinal minor league czar Tom Mathis. One of the questions that's been kicked around a little bit here is Nolan Gorman has come alive a little bit down in the minors. Do you bring him up just as Doug shakes his head? If nothing else, to try to, get his trade value up before the end of the year. Or do you say, hey, we're 7-3 in our last 10. Let's not mess with anything.
I don't think you bring him up. His strikeout rate is still over 40%. He has hit a little bit more power lately, and he's walking a little bit more, which is, pretty good for him. But I don't know. What if you bring him up and he goes 1 for 50 and strikes out 37 times? He craters that trade value even more than he already is. So I don't know. I keep him down there, just try to end on a positive note this year, and hopefully, bring him back in your spring training if you're not able to trade him.
You were oddly specific with that 1 for 50, and none of us disagreed. It's like
nobody said a word.
No.
Yeah.
Hey, Joe, this Baez kid had quite a debut, didn't he?
Oh, yeah. Hey, you talk about a guy coming up ready to swing. He wasn't taking any pitches. Hey, it's his first game. Hey, blow the fastball by him. Oh, wait, hit a changeup. He was up there swinging the bat. Now, ever since then, not good.
Baseball's a hard game.
Yeah.
That's what I told my lovely wife, Jamie Kay, who's joining us in the Thunderdome tonight for the City match. Yeah, baseball's a hard game.
Okay.
He did pinch hit and get a hit earlier and stole a base.
Nice.
Yep.
Because
he's off the schneid.
17,
Off the
correct?
schneid. Yes.
Yeah.
He was 0 for 18.
0 for 18? Okay.
But and this was a topic at our family dinner tonight. My lovely wife's like, he hasn't done anything since those 3 homers. I said, well, he's had some good contact. That's the thing. These will start falling. She goes, well, he strikes out all the time. I said, he's had some strikeouts, but not we expect those. So but he has had some good contact. I heard somebody today comparing to a major leaguer, and I'm not sure if I agree with this, but it was Ronald Acuna.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know that I see that, but if we get that kind of production from him, I'd be okay with it.
Well, I will say that kind of at our house, it's almost back to the, the Albert Pujols, Mark McGwire of you kind of stop what you're doing when he comes up to bat, because you want to see his at bats.
Yeah, they are interesting.
No. Hey, Doug, we've had some fun this year with Mr. Stanek with his hair sewn into his hat, and Mr. Brule, who is doing his best Steve Klein impersonation there earlier in the year. But those two have just like really become, dare I say, reliable here lately.
I mean, if you got the lead going to the 7th inning, I mean, you're pretty darn confident if you're a Cardinal fan. So, Riley O'Brien had his rough stretch, about 6 weeks ago when he righted the ship. And yeah, there's no way in hell I thought Brule would be this good at this point in the year. Because I'm telling you, that first month, of course, he pitched every day, like Tom pointed out, so he had time to work the teams out.
Yeah, he did.
That's true. So again, right now, as we are recording this, they're down 3-2 in the bottom of the 7th in Cincinnati. By the way, Gastelum is how it is officially pronounced in the Cardinal site, but I have heard so many different pronunciations for his name. No, it's like even the Cardinal announcers are all over the board on it sometimes.
They really are. He's come back. He's learned a couple other pitches since he's been up here, finessed couple other pitches, and he's become a little bit more efficient and has some quality outings.
Yeah.
Ron, what would Mike Shannon? How would Mike Shannon announce it?
That's a great. I hadn't even thought about that.
Different every time.
Yes, I was just going to say it would never be the same twice.
Nope, it would.
Hey, even the same at bats, it would never be the same.
Nope.
Doug and Tom, it seems like there was one guy that he just started calling him by his first name only. Remember? I can't remember who it was, but it seemed like there was someone who just had a name and he's just like, here's Luis.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't remember who it was, but yeah, he probably did that a couple times.
Well, there's another guy, Doug, that we were, he just finished another good inning, and he's really stabilized after kind of a little bit of a rocky start too. Around the league, Joe Sperlin, kind of a scary, not so awesome thing going on with the Diamondbacks. Ketel Marte, all-star caliber infielder, MIA and placed on, this is one of your more interesting lists in baseball, the restricted list. The manager says,
second time in his career, I read today. Now, they found him.
No,
today.
I did not. Where did they find him today?
In Phoenix.
Really?
Okay.
His agent reported that he went back to get looked at. Shoulder, I want to say shoulder. Oh, yeah, besides that, Doug. But the agent was releasing all this information that I guess he just decided to go back to Arizona and not tell anybody.
Yeah. Yeah, we've seen too many bad things happen that when you see something like that, your mind immediately goes to the worst. So It's a good thing they found him. But yeah, if you're the Diamondbacks and you're in this wild card race and they are just ahead of the Cardinals, that's not what you need right now.
No. And one thing I heard at the trade deadline, and he was on the market, was that he had taken all Diamondback stuff off of his social media.
Oh my!
And so I haven't confirmed, that, but I did hear that, and so this may have been brewing for a while.
Not exactly. Not great. There are some scores that just jump out at you. 22-0. That score will jump out at you. The Mariners lost to the Brewers 22-0. Tom, you were the one that turned me on to the Julio Rodriguez making a blooper for the ages last night.
Yeah, I'd already seen the score, but then I was watching MLB Big Inning, and they're like, I don't think I've ever seen this happen in a game. The Milwaukee Brewers had the bases loaded, 1 out, and there's a fly ball to center field that Julio Rodriguez caught it, and he threw the ball into the stands. And all 3 runs, 20, 21, and 22 crossed the plate for the Brewers.
Tom, I looked at that, and it said throwing error on the box.
I was wondering how they were going to score that.
I suppose so. Hey, Doug, you remember when Larry Walker gave the ball to the kid and he thought it was the third out?
Yep. Exactly.
And then he and then he grabs it back from the kid and throws it in.
He took
I
a few
couldn't
steps
remember
away
who that
and then
was,
grabbed
but
it
I was
back.
thinking the
Yeah.
exact same thing.
Well, you hope they sent it. You hope they sent that kid a bat or a hat or another ball or something. Later on. I always think about stuff like that.
I think
Hey,
that
MLB.
I think it tells you just how good Milwaukee is and how bad Seattle is. They're like
Yeah.
500, and yeah.
We've seen all the Cal Raleigh stuff that, he doesn't at this point in the season have as many hits as he had home runs last year.
Right. That's a drastic fall off. I don't know what you attribute it to. I know he got hurt in the World Baseball Classic, but I don't know if it's still. Maybe it's him. Maybe it's the handshake. Him and Randy and that handshake that he's just never got over it.
Yep.
Put the voodoo on him.
Yeah, he did put it on his own teammate.
Yep.
There you go. Someone pointed out that he has not been the same since that moment. So, hey, MLB correspondent at large, Joe Sperlin, what's happening around the league?
Hey, same thing. Still looking for that Tampa Bay Milwaukee World Series. The wild card spots, they're still hanging in there. So that's been about the same. But I saw something this morning. Fernando Tatis Jr. Did you see his game last night?
I did.
2 home runs, 3 RBIs, made a great catch to rob a home run. So, of course, I didn't hear exactly what they said, but could you imagine that phone call home? Hey, Dad, guess what I did in the ball game? And Dad says, oh, really? I hit 2 grand slams in an inning. It's hard for Junior to call and say, hey, Dad, guess what I did? Did you hit 2 grand slams in an inning? Then don't come and tell me.
Off the same pitcher.
Off the same pitcher.
pitcher.
Showed up stats. The chances of that, according to baseball stats, as we all know, was 1 in 75.8 billion. Hitting
On a
3
Friday
home
night.
runs in a row on your first 3 at-bats was 1 in 3 million. But yeah, 2 grand slams in an inning, 75.8 billion to 1 off the same pitcher.
Yep, Chan Ho Park. I will. That was one of those. I think a lot of us watched it because it was a late night game against the Dodgers on a Friday night, and I just talked to a ton of people that saw that game. I mean, my mom did. I know a ton of people that did. Let's go ahead and talk about this weekend, which is, as we said, the best golfers in the world coming to St. Louis. The BMW Championship here at Bellerive. Doug, I had forgotten it's a par 70 course. They're playing it as a par 70 this week.
Yep.
Fantastic shape.
If you want to put a little money on somebody, not that I condone betting, I would keep my eye on Adam Scott.
Yes.
But yeah, no, we
he likes this course.
He does like this course, and he's playing good. And like we said, 2018, it was a great venue, and they shot really low, but I don't think they go as low because I know that the Bellerive membership wants it to be a little tougher this time. And like you guys said, it's in great shape.
Yeah. I've heard, Tom, we are officially 7+ inches above normal for the summer on rain. That's going to make a course look good, Doug. They, don't even have to pay the water bill there.
Yeah, even with all the heat, it's not like the British Open. Sorry, but
Open Championships.
Yeah. Have you guys heard the yardage on 17?
No.
624.
My goodness.
I wonder how long 16's playing.
I don't know.
Because it was like on the last day of the PGA, it was like 251 or 252.
Wow.
Yeah.
We may have to check into that. But yeah, my buddy was out there yesterday for the practice round, and he said it was 624. He also said that they're making the rough 4 inches. So that'll be interesting.
That's the kind of rough that would make me quit golf, I would just, yeah. Joe Sperlin, in case anyone is going to be at that Sunday round, they're predicting 84 degrees, which for St. Louis in August, man, you can't beat that.
That is the first thing I checked on, and I don't care if there's a chance of rain or not.
Just a 20% chance of rain, so it looks like it's going to be great. Scotty kind of had a moment down there in Memphis, Doug. He was on fire.
Yeah, I still say he's played really, really good this year. Yeah, he hasn't won. When you hit it right by the hole on every hole, you're not going to make every putt. And, maybe not quite as good, but yeah, I liked there on Sunday, Colt Most, he said something like, he goes, if you took that guy off the top, we'd have a great leaderboard. They're all bunched up except for him. Yeah, I heard that.
That's back to when Eldrick Woods was playing so well.
Yes,
it seemed like there were a lot of tournaments where you could do that.
And he likes this 3-week playoff championship. He gets up for it.
Yep.
Yeah. So after this, Doug, after St. Louis, we have one final tournament after this?
In Atlanta. Yeah.
And how many
30.
of the 50? So it's 30 go
30.
to Atlanta, is that right?
30. Yeah. And Ricky Fowler's number 30. So if you're going to watch it on TV, you'll see every damn shot he hits all 4 days. Because Ricky's a good dude, but they really like to show Ricky. And him being the bubble boy right there at 30, we'll see every shot.
Let's hope he makes it.
Ricky is starting to look like a character from Breaking Bad lately. I mean, he's just getting that look about him, and you may infer whatever you'd like from that comment. Anything else you're looking for this weekend, Doug? Apparently it's going to be great weather, a good track, and like we said, the best golfers in the world.
Yep, it ought to be awesome. And as we all know, on his way up from Memphis, Justin Rose stopped and ate at Lambert's.
He caught him a throat roll.
Yep.
He did.
Ron,
they said they were throwing him rolls and he was catching them. So
yep.
Ron, I will make sure I keep all receipts and send that to accounting that I'll be on.
Yes.
It was really funny. We're sitting there watching it and talking about golf, and I just said, it's kind of cool that that it's in Memphis and then in St. Louis. And Emma looked at me and said, "What? They're playing next weekend in St. Louis?" And I said, "Yeah." And she goes, "Can we go?" And I said, "Well, we can't go Saturday. It's sold out, and Sunday's her birthday." And I said, "If you want to go, we'll go." And I just said, well, if Saturday's sold out, there's probably a pretty good chance if we're going to get them, we better get them now. And I think about 4 hours later, they were sold out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're sold out both days. There's been a huge response. The Pro-Am today, which apparently went off without a hitch. So, fun times up here for the St. Louis golf community. And right now, we have reached the midpoint of this episode of the St. Louis Sportists Podcast. When we come back, out of respect for Jaden Daniels, we will not have 5 of anything. And we're going to look back at a time when Mizzou played a real non-conference schedule. All this and more after the break.
Are you in the market for a barn dominium, house, garage, man cave, carport, or hobby shop? Wondering how to get started or where to go? Whatever you are looking to design, look no further than First Coast Steel Buildings. Give Jason and his team a call at 912-314-4848. They will guide you through the process, designing your building to fit your specific needs and budget. Call them today at 912-314-4848 or get inspirational ideas and start designing your own by visiting them at firstcoaststeel.com. Again, that's the number 1, ST, coaststeel.com. Their low-cost buildings are fully galvanized steel, providing you with worry-free, low-maintenance requirements, integrity, quality, and a family-first approach. First Coast Steel Buildings, 912-314-4848. 4848 or firstcoaststeel.com. Discounts for military and first responders.
And we are back on the St. Louis Sportists Podcast, joined by Joe Sperlin, Doug Lansdowne, and Tom Mathis. My name is Ron Cook. And, as the college football season approaches, we're getting ready to do our 20 questions to preview. Is that next week, Joe? I think it is.
Could be, yeah.
I think it is. Yeah, our 20 questions to preview the college football for 2026. So we're looking back 50 years, and Tom Mathis, someone posted the 1976 Mizzou schedule, which I have pulled up here on the left. And, this year the non-conference is Arkansas, Pine Bluff, Kansas, and I believe the Boone County School for, I don't know, something.
Troy.
Yeah, they're
Troy.
Troy.
That's the Arkansas plays, I think. No, Mizzou plays Troy, I think.
So, Tom, let's go back to 1976, which you and I are fossils and old enough to remember. Game 1 at USC. USC was a preseason number 8. They ended up winning the Pac-8, which is just charming now, isn't it? And the Rose Bowl, and they finished number 2 overall. Hey, Mizzou won that game 46-25.
And it was an awesome game. I remember that game. I mean, it felt like it was on at 10:30 at night here.
I think it was.
You got to stay up late and watch it, and it was just incredible. And just the excitement and enthusiasm had for that team at that point was just amazing. And I mean, they beat Ohio State a couple weeks later. They had a very good team.
They did. They beat. I see you're skipping over the loss to Illinois. Illinois, a very mediocre Illinois team, beat them 31-6. But still, scheduling Illinois, that's not bad.
No.
Then they go, and I believe this is one of the greatest. Ohio State preseason number 2. I think it's one of the greatest wins in Mizzou football history. They beat Ohio State. St. Louis City goes up.
You forget the Ohio State Bowl game that we won a couple years ago. And, I mean, we beat Ohio State, even though they probably didn't have a scholarship player playing the game.
They damn sure didn't have a quarterback.
But, I mean, the 76 team was good.
Tom, I was busy that night. I turned down the option to quarterback Ohio State that night.
Yeah.
I had eligibility left.
Especially now with the 5 for 5.
I would have been a transfer from Missouri State.
But that team had a lot of talent. I mean, they had Pete Woods and Steve Zarkowitz at quarterback. They had Kellen Winslow was a tight end. Had a pretty good defense. One of my all-time favorite names, Chris Garlick, was one of the linebackers. My O-line coach from high school was on the team, so that was pretty cool. He told us stories about playing against Scott Studwell from Illinois, and he was later with the Vikings. So they were pretty exciting.
Okay, but Doug, tell me, USC, Illinois, Ohio State, North Carolina, that's a bit more compelling of a non-conference schedule than what we see right now, don't you think?
It is. It was. I remember bits and pieces of that season. I remember some of those players. You remember Winslow. You remember Pizarkowitz. They had a receiver that was really good, too.
Leo
Lewis.
Did Joe Stewart and Leo Lewis.
I remember Lewis.
They were both good.
Yeah.
And they both played in the pros.
Yep. It was just when we sent that out and got to looking at it and talking about everything, though, just looking down through there, the wins and losses, and just it was, you almost can't explain some of that.
But no, because so you beat Ohio State, and by the way, Pete Woods on a 2-point conversion, like at the horn, basically 22-21. But then you lose to Iowa State. You lose to Oklahoma State, and then the kicker, you lose to Kansas 41-14 in the last game of the year.
As I said, Al Alafrio, he could win the big games, but he would lose the the games that he should have won, like Ohio or Iowa State. I mean, they weren't anything back in those days. And you
No.
can't lose to Kansas. In 1975, the Tigers opened against Alabama and beat Alabama.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, they played some great games, and they beat Notre Dame in that time period too.
Oh, they beat Notre Dame twice. They beat them in the early 70s, and then they beat them in 79. Okay, again, these are teams that they no longer schedule in non-conference.
Yeah.
That was the 3-0 game. It's the first time they'd been shut out in 18 years. Some quarterback from Notre Dame, I think Joe Montana, whatever happened to him.
I don't know. That's a weird name.
Hey, and then as I was looking up the Warren Powers administration, they beat Nebraska in 78. And that was the last time they had beat Nebraska until 25 years later.
Yeah, that was the Rick Burns game. Rick Burns rushed for like 230 yards in that game for Nebraska.
I remember being up in Columbia. We were up in Columbia shopping that day, and it was unbelievable, the atmosphere up there that day.
But going back to what we're talking about, that was 78, I believe, that they beat Nebraska.
Yep.
And that was the first Mizzou game I went to. And that same year, they lost to Colorado 28-27 because they missed an extra point. Jeff Brockhouse missed an extra point.
And it shouldn't have been that close to anyway to begin with. So at that point, Colorado was the whipping boy.
Oh, Colorado was terrible back then.
Yeah.
Very, very bad. Well, and their uniforms were like sky blue. They were a disaster. I was pre McCartney, but and we're not talking Paul. Boy, you want a 30 for 30. That's an interesting one. Joe, anything else? So to fast forward ahead and to be forward looking here, allegedly Drink is going to give a Ahmad Hardy update this Saturday. He is not practicing with the team. He is doing his rehab activities, but not practicing with the team. Have you heard anything else about the current Tigers?
No, I have not. And I mean, it's strange that they've never really come out and said, obviously, how bad it is for him not even to be practicing. But then to also kind of say, well, he'll be playing. I mean, I would think Drink is keeping his cards very close to his chest, and a running back like him, they probably working him out and saying, hey, we don't need him hit until he needs to be hit.
Yeah. So that's loose end number one. Let's go to loose end number two. Hey, Doug, a guy, a pitcher we grew up watching, who has an influence beyond just his performance on the field. Tommy John passed away this week. By all accounts, a very good guy, a great teammate. All of his teammates loved him. And like in the playoffs and World Series, when he was out there, man, his team was like kind of the prohibitive favorite. He had game.
He had game. I forgot he pitched as long as he did when I was looking back for his career and everything. And I also forgot until he got hurt how hard he threw.
Yeah, he was a fireballer.
Yeah, he was a fireballer, and we remember him. And I mean, it always seemed like in the playoffs he was just unhittable. That he threw that breaking ball that fell off the table and stuff. And did you know he got recruited to go to the University of Kentucky and play basketball?
No,
did not know that.
Adolph Rupp recruited him to go to Kentucky and play basketball.
Wow.
Yeah, so that tells you right there how good of an athlete he was.
Hey, Ron, I'll go back since we were in the 76, 78. I'll go back to imagine to the $6 million man where this guy has a blown out arm and they say, we can rebuild him. And I mean, and that's what it was. They said, hey, we have this surgery. We think, I mean, I'm sure it was like, you might be able to play baseball again, but I'm sure even back then they had no idea what he was going to be able to do. And he went for it. And, like I said, it's a history making thing. I mean, it's just
changed the game.
Yeah. I can remember when he had the surgery, but can you guys remember what his recovery time was? How long he was out?
No.
I think it was like almost a year and a half, wasn't it? I mean,
Yeah,
it
it was
full
a
year and
little
then-
over a year and a half. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's
But-
not a whole lot different than what it is now.
But no, Doug, I can still, you mentioned his breaking pitch. I can still remember he would just throw that pitch and it would look like it would be a knee-high fastball, and then the catcher would like scoop it off the dirt. It
Off
was
the
just
dirt every time. Yep.
it was that and the Steve Carlton slider that would break into the right-handed hitter's ankle. Those were kind of like the two pitches of the 70s I can remember. But yeah, rest in peace, Tommy John. Hey, Joe Sperlin, did Jaden Daniels, my goodness. I think he's become an internet sensation.
I don't know if I've seen anybody just get blasted on social media in a long, long time than that guy. I mean, people and places that not even, you're like, that's pretty funny just because of who it was and who said things. I think one of the funnier things was, I think it was Columbia football said they removed the 5-yard line. And I mean, Ron, you said it best. You remember what you said 2 days ago? I'm a LSU legend.
Today, persona non grata or something like that.
Yeah, you said dead to the Tiger Nation.
Well, and he was one. So, okay, let's look at the 3 LSU Heisman winners. Billy Cannon, okay, legend, best play in LSU history. Amazing. Joe Burrow, you kind of knew from the moment he made that Sports Illustrated cover and beat Alabama, hey, this guy's going to win the Heisman. And that team just kind of had an air of invincibility. Daniels was more of kind of it was like the last couple weeks of the season, and you're like, him? Heisman? Really? Huh?
There
Really?
wasn't anybody else.
Really?
Yeah.
It was one of those Heismans by default. So you're like, sure.
Mhm.
Okay. And then for him to kind of, as they would say in Douglas County, be too big for his britches.
Mizzou helped him win the Heisman that year too. What do you have, like 400 total yards against him that game?
I was at that game along with Mr. Keith Farrell, his lovely wife Amy, and my wife Jamie Kay. And there's a tremendous picture about 7 feet away here in the Thunderdome of the moment that Major Burns, one of the great names in LSU history, intercepted Brady Cook to seal the game, returned it for its pick 6. I always wondered if his middle name was Frank, Major Frank Burns. But I digress. No, it's just, and there have been so many memes, and all of them start with out of respect for Jaden Daniels.
I mean, for about 3 or 4 days, it seemed like it was every other post on social media. And just from organizations and people that you're just like, now that's kind of funny just because it's who it was. Like I said, there's so many of them. I tried to remember a bunch of them. You just couldn't keep up with it.
No, you couldn't. It was overwhelming. And allegedly his mom was the driving. She said, I saw some quote where his mom said that her number one mission in life is to make sure that he doesn't marry a gold digger or something. I'm like, okay, well, that's whatever.
I thought you were going to say mom's keeping receipts.
Oh dear. Well, really quickly, since Keith isn't here tonight, I'll just breeze through city. We went into San Jose. We said that was going to be a gigantic game on Saturday. Our buddy Jen Cease said it was their biggest test since the break, and they came out and blew away San Jose 3-1. Much maligned striker Simon Bescher, a St. Louis U product, had 2 goals. Right now playing Sporting Kansas. Lowercase k, Kansas, because they play in Kansas. They're not Kansas City. They're up 1-0 at the half. Joe, Kansas is bad. You like that goal differential stat, right?
Yeah.
It's like run differential.
Yeah.
Kansas is a minus 30 goal differential.
Oof.
Oh boy.
Oof.
How many games?
That's big in soccer.
I'm about to say that's huge.
Well, now, technically, after the first half, they're minus 31. I'll update my note here. That's 13 worse than the closest team. Yeah, they're very bad. Next game this Saturday downtown, 18 miles from here against Houston. So again, they're stacking games to make up for that big break they took during the World Cup. But hey, the MLS power ratings had them at 7, so they have turned the season around like crazy. They got off to a brutal start, but man, they're looking good right now.
How tough are the Dynamo?
The Dynamo is they're one of those perennial good teams. They're ahead of City in the West, so we'll have to see how that goes. They'll be tested again. They haven't reached the point where the two new guys are in the starting 11. They're subbing them in the second half. They're doing that again tonight. So you kind of wonder if they're saving them a little bit for Saturday night. They'll give them a full run Saturday. Yeah. So a little bit of strategery. But the head coach, the manager, Johan DeMay, is getting I saw the first mention of him as manager of the year today. So when you start to get things like that, things are going well. And I'll tell you where else things are going well. That's if you call Black Dog Consulting, because they have 38 years in the transportation industry. And Dave knows where to look to find those pennies per mile that make the difference between just getting by and profit and growth. From one-truck operations to small fleet owners, he has a proven multi-million-dollar track record to help you retrieve bigger profits. And Doug Lansdowne has on his AHS 40th anniversary or 40th reunion T-shirt. You can contact Dave at 417-217-9622, or you can email him at david@blackdogconsultingllc.net. And we appreciate Dave's sponsorship of The Last Call. Joe, what do you have for The Last Call?
Well, I know it's a long way away, but I know you guys are keeping track of all these transfers. Ole Miss transfer guard A.J. Storr has committed to UNLV. So there you go.
Nice school in 9 years.
Yeah.
But there's more to the story, Joe.
He has been to 9 different schools in 9 years, 4 different high schools, which, by the way, I'm not talking about moving across the city. I'm talking about the one there was in Las Vegas, Arizona, and then in Florida. And then he has been at St. John's, Wisconsin, Kansas, Ole Miss, and UNLV. So there you go. 9 different schools, 9 years.
That's crazy. That's just crazy. Mr. Lansdowne.
Well, I think this week will be the last time we ever hear about a live golf tournament. Hopefully.
Ooh.
They say they've got a partner called BC Partners, private equity firm. They have an office in New York, mainly known globally, 5 or 6 different countries. I love what Rory said today. Somebody asking me, said, well, what do you think some of the guys, if they were able to come back to the tour, would be able to do? And he goes, well, look what they did for Liv. They sure didn't help them. So, you got to love Rory. They were supposed to have a Thomas Rhett concert there tonight at the course, but they had to cancel that because they couldn't pay him. So,
wow.
Yeah, they couldn't get paid. 2 different companies have got them sued because they haven't been paid all year, and they provide the shot link data, the next shot, and this and that. I know that they said that I think 32 or 33 of the playing members had signed up for the qualifying school for the DP World Tour. So it's not looking too good. So, and they said that bankruptcy was looming.
Well, and then I saw a quote from Jim Nance today, Doug. Did you see that quote?
I did not see that one.
He said that it's going to be hard to find a place for the golfers that went to Live because the rest of the tour is thriving.
Yep. And Bryson's already talking about he's playing in South Africa in December, and he's trying to play in Australia in December. And yeah. So, they decided to make those moves.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yep.
I go back to what I've said all along. This is going to be a great 30 for 30 someday.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Mr. Mathis.
So before I get into my last call, I have a trivia question for you guys.
I thought you were going to say you have a triple this week. I'm going to be like, wow, that's a first.
No triple. It's pretty late for that. Who do you guys know who is third all time in saves in in Major League Baseball?
Craig Kimbrell.
No. I will tell you he is an active pitcher.
Oh.
He's what?
The active pitcher. He's actively pitching right now. This season.
Kenley Jansen.
Yeah.
Ding. I was shocked to hear that today. That he is the one.
He's another guy. He's another guy that's got to wind up like, they talked about, who was the Kittredge. They said Kittredge looks like the uncle that's had a few beers and the kids get him to pitch wiffle ball. And that's kind of always, I thought, been the Jansen windup.
Well, he came up as a catcher and then they converted him. Yeah.
We have a home run. We have a Jordan Walker home run to cut it to 1 run here in the 9th.
There you go.
Sweet. Nice. Also,
Sorry, Tom.
once they said that he was third in saves, he gave up 2 home runs in the bottom of the 9th to blow a save today. So against the Pirates. So I'm going to give a couple stats for the Cardinal draftees last year, 2025. Liam Doyle, round 1. He's his record is 3-7 with a 4.28 ERA. 82 innings, 1.44 whip, but they're trying to get him to throw more pitches than just his fastball. So that, I kind of take his stats with a grain of salt. And that's been their plan all year, and they've kind of stuck with that. Tanner Franklin, he was round 2. He's 4-4. He's moved up to Springfield. He's got 4.30 ERA. 81.2 innings and 1.31 whip. I heard Derek Gould say yesterday that he expects him to be better than Liam Doyle once he gets up to the majors.
Wow.
And that he thinks he'll be a better pitcher in the majors. Ryan Mitchell is an outfielder. He was round 2. He's down at Palm Beach. He's hitting .227, but he's got 12 home runs and 46 RBIs. With the 764 OPS. Jack Gurovich is a first baseman. They took in round 3. He's been moved up to Springfield. This year he has hit 24 home runs and 74 RBIs. His average is 283 with a 367 on base and a 895 OPS. So
that's not bad.
He might be a little bit of a surprise for him coming up. So just a couple of the, keep everybody up to date on what some of these guys are doing.
That's why you're the czar, Tom.
That's right.
Well, I'm going to make mine a double, and I just had a flash here on my thing that reminded me. Joe Sperlin, this one's for you, and it's going to be a very quick double. LSU had a guy named Jack Pyburn who transferred from Florida and played last year. He was like an edge rusher. He got drafted by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Well, he won a court case today, and they've given him an extra year of eligibility. He can come back to college and play, despite the fact that he played in a preseason game for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and had 2 sacks last week. He can join, he can enter the portal, or he can come back to LSU. I can't make this up. I truly can't. So that is, as I say, presented without comment. Well, because he might make more
I don't even know whether
he would make.
I'm not even sure where that court case is even at now.
No, well, this was a Louisiana thing, and we've talked about Louisiana politics a time or two on this pod.
Yeah.
And the guy that does the chicken guy from Louisiana, Tom, has probably put together an NIL package for him already. You know, he had that ready to go before the guy, Canes, I believe. Yeah. My second one's also very, very quick, and I'm calling an audible from what I put on the sheet. But that is, I had to go back to this. It's too good. Georgia football has had over 25 driving-related arrests or citations since 2023. So they were looking for an on-field sponsor. What would be better than Progressive Insurance? Are they trolling themselves? I mean, that's my question. It's like, do they understand the irony? I just don't know.
Yeah, I don't think so. Just Progressive.
My favorite was the suggestion. Joe, did you see the one where they said Grand Theft Auto Georgia Bulldogs?
Yes,
I thought that would have been a pretty fun extension of the brand.
Exactly.
I don't know. And with that, we have reached the end of the St. Louis Sportist Podcast for this week. Joe Sperlin, thank you, sir.
Enjoyed it, guys. Always good to visit with you.
Mr. Lansdowne, which cat was that?
That was James.
That was Jay. Okay, James is back. Good.
Yep, James is back this week. Yep, glad to be back. Had a good time.
Tom Mathis.
Good to see everybody. Enjoy the BMW.
And we will see all of you next week on the St. Louis Sportist Podcast. And until then, take care.
And that wraps another episode of the St. Louis Sportist Podcast. Please like and subscribe to stay up to date on all the latest episodes. You can find these guys on all major podcast platforms. And thanks for listening.